What stands out about this matchup, Hokie? Because this is, I don't think many people had the Steelers and Commanders a combined 13-4 going into their game.
No.
And their offense is pretty electric, isn't it?
Their offense is great. We'll see what happens if Brian Robinson can play, because Brian Robinson brings another dynamic to this offense. But Austin Eckler, let me tell you right now, you go back and watch that game last week against the Giants, that guy can still play.
Yeah.
Even though he's older, he's still quick, he's still shifty, and he's multidimensional. He can run the ball, and he can still find that hole. The offensive line are opening up holes for this offense in the running game, but he also can catch the ball in the backfield and make big plays, and so he's dynamic. But without Brian Robinson, they take a ding in terms of their explosiveness on offense. Jane Daniels, you go back and watch a couple of these games he's played this year that I've watched. He's really good with the football. He only has 2 interceptions over 9 games as a rookie. That's really unheard of, right? And he's putting the ball in the right place. He's not putting the ball in harm's way like you see a lot of rookies that do. He doesn't get flustered. Now he hasn't had T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith barreling down on him, but he's done a good job with the football. Listen, what I'm excited to see here is you have an offense that's pretty good, right? They're the third scoring offense in the NFL, averaging 29 points a game, and the Steelers defense, the second scoring defense, only holding teams to 14.9 points a game. Something's got to give, and we're going to see what happens on Sunday.
When you have a guy like that, and the Steelers, let's take Lamar. They've done a great job against Lamar in his career. I think he's 2-4 with more interceptions than touchdowns against the Steelers. We've talked about this before, not being over-aggressive on your pass rush.
Yes.
How do you treat a guy like this? How do you go after Daniels in this game? Conservatively,
But Daniels isn't a guy who's looking. I mean, he does a good job of balancing throwing the ball and running the ball. He's not looking to run. Some of these young guys, they look at their first option, and then he's not open, they're gone. He's not doing that, man. He's going through his progressions, and then if he gets squeezed out of the pocket, then he's going. So he's not looking to run first. This guy's looking to throw the ball, and it's exciting for them because he gets it. You read about how he prepares. You read about how he's early in the building early. He's there late. He's studying. So this is a guy that's going to make this Commanders organization relevant for a long time if he can stay healthy. But how do you rush him? I think still you got to squeeze the pocket. You got to take your chances. You got to be careful when you can't open up an escape lane for a running back, especially the guys in the middle. I think of like Cam, and I think of Ogunjobi and Benton, and those guys rushing between the tackles. You're going to have TJ, and you're going to have Highsmith, and if it's Preston Smith, if Herbig comes back, those guys screaming off the edge. And what you can't do is you can't allow Jaden Daniels to step up into the pocket. You've got to push that pocket, and you can't let him escape up the middle, right? You've got to make sure you squeeze that pocket around him and let TJ and Alex Highsmith do what they do. That's why we were so effective when I played, because we weren't counted on, Starkey, to get sacks. We were counted on keeping the quarterback in the pocket. I don't know how many times Mitch would say to me, John Mitchell, hey, I don't need you to get to the quarterback. I need you just to stay in front of him. So my rush was more of just shadowing him, moving across the center and the guard, staying in front of that quarterback so that the Lamar Woodleys and the James Harrisons and the Joey Porters and the Clark Higgins can get to him. And that's what they got to do this week.
Man, that's an interesting matchup in terms of scheme on scheme there. What'd you think of the Steelers' 2 pickups, Hokie? I'm talking, of course, about Mike Williams and Preston Smith.
I like them. Listen, it adds depth, right? And it gives them another dynamic on offense. I think Preston Smith is a big body, a guy that can play against the run. He can come in, right? He's a much, he gives them a different element than Jeremiah Moon and those other guys that are behind Herbig, right? So now they have 4 solid guys. I mean, he has 66.5 sacks over his career, so he can rush the quarterback, Preston Smith. I like him. I like him. And then you got on offense, you got Mike Williams. Let's see what kind of Mike Williams comes. Is he the guy that's going to be able to be a number 2 option? I think with Russ Wilson, I liked what I saw from the other guys. I liked what I saw from Van Jefferson. I liked what I saw from Calvin Austin, right? And I think that everybody's going to benefit from having Russ Wilson, who has a great vision of the field and throw it around. But I think Mike Williams is going to help draw, if they double team George Pickens, he's a big body, 6'4", he can run. And Russ Wilson, I don't know if anybody in the NFL, very few, I'll say this, that can throw that deep ball and put it in places where only the receiver can catch it than Russ Wilson.